Welcome back to Plant Etc. Thanks for joining me today. I have something new that I'm trying. I'm going to try a series called Boots on the Ground, where I'm taking you with me into the garden and you'll get to see what I'm doing. This is the first part series. I don't know how many parts I'll have, but this is number 1, and this is early spring right now, and you'll get to see what my garden looks like and what are my plans. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Okay, looking at the garden right now. Let's see what we have. We've had so much snow. In February it was pretty cold, so this is nice to see. Everything's kind of dormant, not much happening. Pretty wet, very wet. Beautiful little flowers coming up, just a little bit. The daffodils are popping up too. I thought I would have crocuses by now, but I don't see them yet, so I guess they're coming up. And we'll see what we get, what survived. So I will walk through. So we're right at the entrance. Just back up a little bit here. You can see there's the plum tree. I just heard today that maybe I should be pruning my plum trees in the summer. Maybe I might try that. I'm gonna try and do a bit more research on that and see if that's the case. But here are my winter onions, and they did survive. They don't look too bad. I only had this light mesh on them, so I didn't cover them with plastic. I just went with the mesh. Here's the strawberries that I have. These are large pots that I'll use a little later. So this is plot number 2, where I have the onions there. I should start numbering them. That might make it a bit easier. And what's the next thing I have here? I have these 2 big boxes, which I had carrots in them. We'll see if they survive. I have a little bit showing off. There's a couple here that are actually probably big enough. Let's see if I can pick one. This big one here. Oh, there we go. It's like that little round French one. Yeah. I forgot that's what I had planted. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Not bad at all. And this is plot number 1, where I'm probably going to put my peas. That's what I'll do here. And this is the next big plot that I have, where I'm going to put the tomatoes and the basil. These 2. Here, I'll stand back here a little bit. These 2 are going to be where I'm putting my tomatoes and basil. And in here, I'm going to put some of the Swiss chard, and I'll probably start my radish pretty soon. And look at those babies. This is the garlic. Look at that. Oh, I'm sure I did about 120 of them. So look at that. How beautiful is that? They're pretty much all up. I think they're all up. All of them. I'll just bring you down a little bit more closer to them. Look at that. How nice is that? That looks wonderful. Right? So let's see how they do. They're pretty good looking too, nice and green and firm. In the next few weeks, I'll probably come by and clean some of the leaves off to kind of help warm up the soil, remove some of the wind garbage that found its way over the winter. And yeah, look at that. That looks so good. And then here are my raspberry canes, which probably I should be pruning in the next few weeks or this weekend. Just no energy right now, so I'll do it in a bit. And then behind me, this plot here. Can't remember all the numbers anymore. I think this is 7, 8. This is plot 9. Yeah, this is number 9. And I had leftover garlic that I had extras, that I put in here too. And then I have some of my broad beans, which not looking so good, but maybe they'll perk up. The weather has been pretty cold, so it might have been a little too cold for them this year, so we will see. And then the other thing I have is, of course, my worm bin, which I have not looked at for a while, so I'm going to check it out now with you. I'm hoping that everything survived. I'm really hoping. I think the worms were fine, but you never know. The cardboard is pretty resilient, isn't it? It kind of hung in there, so I think that might have given them just enough heat to keep them from freezing and freezing up too much. So let's go have a look. I'm just kind of going in front here quickly to show you the flower beds. And I put lots and lots of bulbs in here, so I'm hoping that they survive too and that they'll be up in the next little while. We have some daffodils here. And then you can see some of the tulips are coming up too. So we will see how that goes. There's my geranium. Let's see what happens there. Yeah, so we will see what we get. These are my raspberry canes. I have only very few, so I'll probably cut some of those down, see what we get. But yeah, I'll stand back a little bit here to show you what it looks like. Yeah, so that looks nice. Okay, so I'm going to perch you up and we're going to open the box to see how the worms are doing. So this is going to be a surprise for everybody because right now I don't know how well they are doing. Okay, let's remove the top. And let's see, surprise. Okay, I already see one moving there. Oh, I think they did fine. Okay, oh yeah, I think they did fine. Look at that. This was a big one there that we just removed. I'm going to zoom a little bit more. There we go. So you can see the worms did manage to survive. Putting my gloves on. So they did manage to survive. We got down to minus 18. Just removing the slugs. So we got down to minus 18. So that's pretty good for us here on the West Coast that they still did manage to survive, the worms. They're wiggling. Oh yeah, still a little bit of mold going on, but that's okay. I dropped. And then fell there. So you can see they're still moving around. I mean, they're not eating that much, so maybe the food that I brought today is not necessary. I'm going to grab a tool here. Just to kind of move things around a little bit. Yeah, so now you can see they're not going too crazy with the food, which is to be expected. There isn't really has not been warm. There's that garlic. Okay, I'll remove it. It's just growing now. They didn't eat it at all. I thought they might eat it. They didn't at all. I'll take it out. It's fine. And the bananas, everything I've put in here has been consumed pretty good. I'm just moving it with my hand. The worms are in here, squishing. It's a little, lots of worms here. They're hanging in there. I'm just happy to see they didn't die, because really, it was pretty cold. No, and it's not much cover. It's not a normal weather for us here on the coast, so I'm just happy they made it. So I'm just not going to do too much, really. I might give them a little bit of chow just to get their digestive system kind of going again. What is this one? Oh, that must have been a cabbage, purple cabbage. They're not really chowing down on the cabbage as much as I thought they would, but we'll see. Okay, I'll try and perch you guys again here. See if I can get this to stay this time. Okay, I think we got it as best as we can here. Just move this a little bit down. I think you can see. Okay, so I'm going to go look for something that would dry it out a little bit more. So maybe putting some newspaper in there. I thought I brought newspaper with me. Just gonna go look in my box. I don't have paper, but I do have a carton here, so I might use that. An egg carton. That's what I have. I'll use the egg carton. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'll put a little bit of food. I know I said I wasn't gonna give them more food, but I brought some stuff with me and I'm not taking it back. I don't want to take it back home again. So, okay. So what do I have here? I have usual a banana peel, a little paper, carrots, some loose tea, because we drink tea in the morning, a little cover of an avocado, so nothing major. It's not that much food. And then a little bit of paper. Hopefully the paper will help dry some of this out. And then I had in the freezer, I also had this frozen broccoli that went bad. So I'm just gonna rip that a little bit apart, take the plastic out of the way, and leave that for the big siren. I don't know if you guys can hear the siren in the background. That's what it is. So I'm gonna rip the cardboard, the egg carton around a little bit and try and stuff it and see, to kind of give them something a little bit drier to eat, because of the snow and the rain, so there's been lots of water around, so make it a little too wet. So I'm just gonna add a little bit here. So this is really my update for the worms. They've survived the month of cold weather that we had here on the West Coast. So I'm really happy with that. I'm also gonna add some of my favorite worm chow, which you'll find the recipe on my site. So that's what I'm doing. Whoops, the wind just came up. We'll do 2 scoops of that. Give them something a little extra there. And I'm going to mix that up a little bit. So I think that's good. So the update is the worms survived the -18 weather on the west coast. So that's excellent. So I'll just open the paper here and a little bit more. It's pretty wet. You can see, but let's spread it out a little bit like that. And let's add our little burlap on top here. So I would say it was a success. Like for a first winter, this actually worked. They didn't die, and that was pretty cold. And it was cold for 3 weeks in a row. So it's a good sign that they did manage to survive. Okay, I put everything back up, and that's it for the worms. Okay. I'm going to look at my comfrey to see what it looks like. Oh yeah, look at that. So this bucket was full when I did it, but you can see how it has completely reduced to brown. I'm not going to lift it because really all the liquid is in the second compartment here. So I'm not going to lift that, but this is what your comfrey would look like if you filled it up with water, put it in like a double barrel situation where you drilled holes in this first one and this one catches all the liquid, and then what you end up having is a slow release brown guck at some point that I will show you guys, but not today. But you can see it's definitely all composted very well, and you can either take this kind of brown stuff and put it on the garden or as you're planting, or you'll take the liquid which also collected here at the bottom that we can use. So this is excellent. I'm really happy with that result. I'm just going to close everything tight again, and that way that'll be ready for when we're ready to start planting in probably just a few days. Now probably do the peas in a few days as the weather comes up again. Let's see, this is here my other compost of just leaves, so just kind of dried leaves. I'm doing too much here. And then I have one of those rolled compost bins where again it's almost like a warm compost bin. I put stuff in here too, but let's see, there's a few things in here, just kind of leftover vegetables that I put in here, and that does really good too. It's almost like a warm bin by itself, but it's a really good compost bin. If you don't want to get a warm bin completely, you can get one of these round ones. They're not cheap though, so it's like a bit of an investment. And then my other bin here, which is just got stuff in it, nothing major. So that's what it looks like right now. I'll come by at some point and prune. Might be a little too late almost. As you can see, they're already budding here for the berries. So we'll see. And I might just leave them this year. Last year I did prune them really hard. So, you know, sometimes you only do what you can. You can't do it all. And I don't have time to come and do all this pruning this year, so I'm going to leave it. So normally for people that are looking at this, for your blackberries or any berries, you would likely remove your old cane. So like this one here that I'm holding, you can see it's pretty brown. It's got like funny veinings going on. So that one would be removed for sure. And you would leave the nice and green ones, the really nice green ones that are there. Probably all these brown ones should be removed, but you know, I don't have time right now. I really don't. So I'm just gonna leave them for now, and we'll see what we get this year. Just give it a little break. I did prune it really hard last year, so I think it's okay. You can see it's not that congested at the bottom. There's lots of room. This is my second one here that I have. So, you know, just let it be for this year. So that's it. That's good enough. The other thing is to look at now some of the winter vegetables that I have. Look at that lettuce. Look at that lettuce. How great is that? Okay, so somebody's got to explain to me why the slugs do not touch this lettuce. Because look, next door to it, where the pak choi are, or whatever's left of them, they've been eaten up. You know, they've been nibbled here and there, but not the lettuce. And this is the Salanova lettuce from Johnny C. So I started some more of those, but look at how amazing and beautiful they look. So this is perfect for spring. They're gonna just boom, explode, and they should be ready, and we'll have some really good salads later on. So yeah, I have a little bit of some green, some kohlrabi. I have some kale. They're just trying. And then I'll pull out this bok choy. I have to give up on the bok choy. I'm just like useless. I never get them. Even cold weather, warm weather, it doesn't matter what I do with my bok choy. I never seem to get it right. So I'm just going to pull this out in the spring, and we can eat this in soup and all that. So I will do that. Okay, pulling out. So this is great. I'm going to check the other one. So put back a clip here. No, my elastic really worked. Basically nothing went flying out. So I really like that. Let's check and see how this one's doing. Not so good. We'll clean this bed out. This is bed number 7. And I'll just clean it out and plant my new stuff in there. Looks a little bit of a mess, so that's okay. I tried. So we'll clean some of it out and see how it does. Do you see how many the slugs have been eating everything up? But somehow that lettuce is fine. So these are the kind of dead plants I'm going to remove. And give it a good clean up, and we'll go from there. That's all I'll do. There's only so much you can do, so I will do that later when the weather is, well, probably in a few weeks now, starting to warm up nicely. So come out and spend a weekend cleaning it up. So that looks good. And now for the flowers, I have dahlias that I planted everywhere. This is among my verbenum, which I'll prune back. I left it for the birds, and I think it looks so cute, but I'll prune it. I cut it all down to the ground and get new shoots. I'll have to clean that up too. Drawn. This is the spot where my little pond will be, and I'll walk you through setting that up. But yeah, look at that. All the dahlias are up and about. So that should be a nice show later on. I did put some sweet peas in the ground, but I don't know. I don't know if they'll come up. We'll see. So my intention is over this arch this year is to have a nice bean plant growing. We'll see if that works out. That's the plan. Usual plan is a big word here. And then under the over this big arch, I think I'm gonna get a clematis, and I'd love to have some bright colors in there. So maybe something red or something nice, because I put in this arch thinking I was gonna grow cucumbers, and nah, cucumbers, or even some some squash, right, and have it hanging. I saw that on Pinterest. No, didn't work. Need way more heat than what I get here. So that's what it is. But that's the piece there, and then you can see this other view of the garden from the front here. I'll walk forward again here, and I think the next things you guys will see that I'll be recording will be me planting peas, and the peas are going to go in this bed here, in bed number 1. That's where I'm going to put the peas. And then after that, probably collecting some of the carrots, cleaning up some of the other beds. So we'll see how it goes. Okay.
I hope you've enjoyed this first Boots on the Ground series, part 1 for early spring. We will see you in the next one. Make sure you click, you subscribe, and you share this video. So happy gardening!